Okay, so we're talking about the alchemy of perception, alchemizing your perception. We're talking about letting your mind catch up to where your heart already is, and being in the middle of a trust exercise. We've been talking about this concept of a chair, as well as not looking down. With the chair, we were talking about how you are in this space of feeling like, last time I got comfortable in this chair, I put my feet up, I made myself at home. I kept falling on my ass because that foot from way back where, out of nowhere, out of the blue, all of a sudden, I get kicked out from underneath this chair and I'm on my ass. And God's coming through and saying, yeah, because you put your faith in the chair, you put your faith in the material things in which you could see, what you could count on. So you felt like the chair is what's holding you up. But it's your faith in me that will hold you up. I was seeing in my mind someone like sitting in the chair, they're kind of trembling, they're shaking because they don't trust the chair. And I don't know if they're really even meant to, but they don't trust the chair. But they're trying to prove to themselves that they can trust God. When God says, I need you to sit down in this chair, it's like, okay, I would sit down, but I keep having this memory of whenever I sit in this damn chair, I somehow end up on the ground. But this time, you got your eyes closed, you got your head, your both arms over your chest, like you're about to fall into a trust fall, and your eyes are closed. And I'm seeing someone open their eyes, and to their surprise, the chair is gone, and yet they're still sat because it wasn't the chair that was supposed to support you. It's not the chair that was supporting you. The chair was always supposed to just be a symbolic, physical representation of the faith and the support that you already have, that you're already seated upon. But it's kind of like the this is something that I was trying to get into in a different message before about what is the magic truly? Is it the words that you say, that you pray? Is it your belief that the words work? Is it the place from which you speak the words, the vibration that's coded in these words that create the miracle, the magic of what is happening around you? And like I said before, the answer is yes. Like it's all of it together. But if one piece of it is missing, where, I'm putting all It's like, as long as I'm sat in the chair, I can feel the chair, I'm rocking back and forth in it, all the legs seem sturdy, then I'm good. No, because the chair is breakable. I can kick one of the legs underneath the chair and you can still fall. But if I know if I'm sat in the chair, you know, whether the chair's here or not, I'm good. That is what keeps you sat, keeps you supported. Because that goodness is found in the Lord. That goodness is found in faith, in your faith in goodness. So there's a need. Yeah, it's like, this is what I was saying before. It's like, don't look at the chair. Look at me. Look up. Don't look down. Because you have scaled to new heights where you are disconnected from the ground that you started on, and you're high up enough to where if you look down, you could psych yourself out. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm really high up. This is kind of dangerous. This is risky. I could fall. I could hurt myself. Because you're not quite yet to the top. You can't quite reach it yet. But you're not where you were either. So there's a need to keep reaching up, to keep looking up. It's the hope of how close you are to the top that it will keep you carrying on. But it is the fear of how far you are from the bottom that could, destabilize your grip. Yeah, I'm just here. I won't let you fall. I won't let you down. But it's your faith in me that allows me to support you. If that isn't there, then I don't have the access. The faith is a vehicle for me to reach out and touch you. It's an invitation for me to support you, to carry you. It requires that surrender even in the mind. The heart is already there, like I said. In your heart of hearts, you trust me. That's what God says. And in your heart of hearts, you trust me. But it's your mind with memories of times where you thought rather than felt, you thought that you trusted me. But with the cushion and the ornaments of the physical world, you could think that you trust me, but it didn't really matter whether you really felt it or not because you had the security of what it is that you could feel physically, tangibly. Put your hands, on it and say, okay, I put my faith in what it is that I can feel tangibly, what I can see with my own two eyes. But this is awakening spiritual senses, a new level of perception. So now when you say I put my faith in something that I can feel, it means something different than it meant before. You weren't talking about that clairsentience, that clairvoyance, that clear spiritual perception of feeling and seeing, where you can feel me now in a way you weren't open to before. You can see me now in a way that you couldn't conceive of before. But what you're noticing is, unlike your, I'm going to call them normal senses, all of your senses are normal. They're all yours, so therefore they're normal. But I'm talking about the ones that you're most familiar with, ones you didn't necessarily have to cultivate in order to build up strength within you. You open your eyes and you see. You put your hand out on something and you feel it. So I'm going to call them normal. What you're noticing is that with your normal senses, you don't have to really do anything. Like I said, you open your eyes, you see something. You reach out and touch something, you feel it, which is a blessing. It's a blessing to be healthy in that way, where it's not even something you have to think about. There are people who it's effort for whatever reason, whether it be, I don't know, their neurology or whatever it may be, but it's a blessing. And yet and still, it's not something you have to think about. And the key is getting these more heightened senses to that same level of normalcy. Is that a word? Normalcy? I don't know. The same level of normalness where you integrate them into that same category of, it's normal for me to feel God in this way. It's normal for me to see God in this way. I don't think it's strange. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it makes me crazy. But I do think it renders me blessed, just like every other senses that I can recognize is a blessing. But right now, you're still in that process. You're still scaling that mountain where you're not quite where you were, but you aren't exactly to the top yet. You've climbed mountains before and you've reached peaks before, and that's what made you comfortable in climbing this one. It was the precursor, the qualifier to even be able to be allowed upon this mountain, to know that you could do something like this because you've already done something like this. But now it's to a different scale, to a different height, to a different peak, to a new perception. So you're asking, okay, then how do I, what do I do? What do I do to allow for this perception to become normal to me? It isn't what you do as much as what you say and what you feel. Our words have power, and what we continue to affirm to ourselves and to others has a bearing on the reality that we experience. So, this is about faith. Maybe the words that you say aren't completely caught up to the things that your eyes can see. But the more you continue to affirm your reality, the reality that you feel, the reality that you see within yourself, the reality you see in your dreams, the reality that you sense in your soul, the more that you allow me in to your heart and to your life to be able to support you, to carry you through this this period, this time, this adventure, this hike. So don't look down, look up, reach up, have confidence in your convictions. They I will not let you fall. Continue to say that he will not let me fall. She will not let me fall. They will not let me fall. I can do this. I don't know what's up there yet, but I'm going to keep going. My hands are always going to find the right groove to support my next step. I have the strength to keep going, to keep climbing. There's power in repetition. The more that you repeat these things, the more that your body, your mind, your heart, it hears you. You are in constant conversation with your body, with life. And so the more that you allow for yourself to speak the perception that your heart understands, but your mind still isn't completely sold, right? Because our minds are machines to a degree. I'm being given, how do I articulate this? It's kind of like how when we have memories, think of your mind as like one big camera that also has the ability to like deduct reasoning and conclusions and theories from the photos that it captures. It can tell you a story about the photos that it captures. It can draw upon other information that you have stored in these banks of photography that is your mind in order to then speak to the story that it's seeing about the new photo that it's grasping. But it requires that photo before it can really tell you anything about anything. So it needs a snapshot of something before it can really tell you about something. And your heart doesn't work that way because it's not, it's like where your mind is a manual, a mechanical computer. Your heart is this like spiritual supercomputer that isn't bound by the same mechanisms to a degree. And so your mind, if it doesn't have a snapshot, oh my gosh, a snapshot of what you're trying to perceive or come to understand, it may have a difficult time giving you an accurate story about what it is that you're looking at. This is why it's important to be really connected to your heart. I'm able to sit here and speak on this because I can feel my heart space right now. It's open and it's big. And so I'm speaking from this place rather than from my mental place. But I need my mental place in relationship with this heart place to even find the words that I'm conveying. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, be patient with your mind. Don't villainize your mind just because it's grasping at straws in order to give you a story about the perception you're being asked to step into, that you're climbing into, until it really sees it and it's your reality has caught up with your physical reality, has caught up with your spiritual reality. Your mind is going to look for other photographs, other experiences that tell a story it seems that it draws upon. It seems that it can draw upon, that it would classify as similar. Similar times you sat in a chair and you ended up on your butt, but this is different, isn't it? Put your faith in me, God says. Put your faith in me, not the chair. Put your faith in your heart, not the chair. Put your faith in the promise that you are held, that you will be supported, rather than what you can grab onto to ensure that you will not fall. Because those things can break, those things can pass away, those things can go away. That's the realm in which we live in, the realm in which our physical bodies live in, our spirits, our souls. When we set them free, they're not bound to this land strictly. We find our home in non-physical lands, and we come back to our bodies to tell our bodies the stories of what our spiritual eyes have seen, to remind them that this isn't all that there is, that there's more, ever more. And now you're stepping into a moreness, a newness that your eyes your physical eyes have not seen before. Forgive the computer for not having the information on go, on ready that it is that you seek. But also forgive yourself for asking it questions it cannot answer, for looking to the wrong space, the wrong place for the answers that you seek. Don't ask it. Ask your heart. Feel into your heart. Feel into me. Feel into me. And see how that answers you. I could cry right now because when I sat down today, I was feeling kind of distraught, a little bit overwhelmed, kind of run ragged because I've been so in my mind trying to make sense of the signs and the synchronicities and things that have been coming to me. And because I have a well studied mind, my mind is a tool, a very helpful tool that's gotten me places, into schools, jobs, whatever. It's opened doors for me, right? But it isn't my mind alone that keeps me there. But I sat down and I was just feeling so frustrated because I feel like what am I not getting? What am I not understanding? And when I can't make sense of something in my mind, I start to feel, you know, stupid, like I'm failing my spiritual path, like it's calculus or something. And it's in opening up my heart, letting the Holy Spirit step in. I pray for that. I said, please step into me. And they're here. That's simple. I ask, I receive. And I feel so different in my body. I'm sitting up straight. I was slouched over. I feel here, so firmly here, and nowhere else. I feel like the details of the questions that I was asking weren't really the question I was trying to ask. That's why I love the way Spirit speaks. It speaks to the truth of what you're curious about, what you're wanting to understand. And I just feel washed over with this sense of calm and this sense of fullness. I feel my heart space so intimately right now. Um, So I will take heart, I will rest secure, knowing that I'm in transition and my mind is doing the best that it can to catch up to the perception that I am alchemizing myself into, and that its ability to grasp this multi-dimensional, layered, nuanced way of perceiving the world isn't a direct reflection on like my intelligence or how much I am doing the alchemizing. It's just a testament to the quantum and multidimensional nature of the perception that I'm stepping into. That is, honestly, it's difficult to grasp. It's difficult to speak to when you're trying to use your mental intellect alone to do it. But it's as simple as I'm moving away from a time where I needed the chair. I needed to know that the chair was sturdy. I needed to know that I could trust the chair. I needed to know that the chair was God's chair. I needed to know all of these things about the chair rather than the one who asked me to sit in it in order to feel safe and secure and to allow for the magic of me and, and the one who asked me to sit in it to unfold by trusting in the one rather than trusting in the chair. Because that's not where the trust is. The trust is between me and the one, not between me and this chair. So I'm learning to trust myself to trust the one. That even if I'm shaking and my eyes are clenched closed, but I'm still reaffirming to myself, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. When I open my eyes, the chair may or may not be there, and that's really not the point. The point is that I'm not on the ground. I haven't fallen. If I open my eyes and see where it is that I am, this isn't exactly the bottom. This isn't exactly the floor. It may have been scary. It may have been really nerve wracking. I may have looked from the outside in like, okay, it's just a chair. I don't know why you're just sit down. Or how is she floating? Or whatever it may be. It may have looked to those things, but we know what was required of me to be able to sit down in the first place. retake this seat, to build a new relationship with the chair where I'm not blaming the chair for being the reason why I fell. You know, maybe I could blame whoever kicked the leg out, but ultimately, I ended up on the ground because I didn't trust. I put my trust in the wrong places. And now I'm putting my trust in the one.